to put the face with the name.
Yes, Ms. Lewis, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I hope the same is true for you.
Georgia won last night, so it's starting out as a good thing.
It definitely is. I'm also a long-suffering Falcons fan too, so I do understand. Mr. Moore, I'm going to send you just a brief chat on one case.
Gotcha. Thank you. And by the way, I haven't responded, but I have been receiving your emails about the fast tracks.
Okay, no problem.
And what I'm going to do is after I call the calendar, I'm going to create the breakout rooms. Miss Lewis, you're going to be in breakout room number 1. Jail is going to be breakout room number 2. And I'll set up a third breakout room in case people need to step aside. So to the extent that those are necessary, they're going to be available for everyone to use.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, position number 1, I have a Daquan Bryant.
Your Honor, Mr. Bryant is sorry. I was about to make an announcement. I did not yet have my list prepared. There it is. My understanding is that Mr. Bryant did not currently have a attorney appointed to his case. In the likelihood that we may very well get appointed today, we went ahead and spoke with him yesterday. Our request was going to be to have a discussion with the court regarding bond prior to actually beginning a preliminary hearing to see if possibly we can do something other than actually just going through with the hearing.
Do you know his arrest date?
Mr. Bryant, sorry, hang on. Let me get the right one.
The arrest date is December 3rd, Your Honor.
Okay.
Well, I think, isn't he I'm sorry, I'm getting him confused with somebody else. Never mind. Sorry.
Okay. So he's been in custody for more than 30 days.
Your Honor, I do understand Lister and Holtz making that request. I do note that they did not file a bond motion in addressing bond. Typically, we don't address it in mass. But I did provide them with a fast track offer on this case, but my hesitation just is that the state is supposed to have notice of bond hearings, but also to the extent that officers are on and present, having them sit here and wait while we go through a flurry of bond hearings is something that the state would hope to avoid as a matter of practice.
Oh, we're going to discuss the fast track with them.
Hold on. I don't want to get into this now because we can have discussions about this. But I will note for this, at least for Mr. Bryant, it looks like these are driving related offenses. So if the officers are here, it would appear that they would be the ones who would be best suited to provide testimony. And I do note what you're saying as it relates to the state receiving notice of a bond hearing, Ms. Lewis. So that point is not lost on me. But person spending 30 days in jail, given a false name, obstructing of an officer, an improper U-turn, and no driver's license, some may view that as being a little harsh.
And Your Honor, I think that there are additional facts to that.
Which is why I didn't want to raise it here and address it here. So we can address it. And you may carry today, Ms. Lewis, but I'm not especially when we're talking about certain offenses. It's as a taxpayer, it's like, why are we paying this money?
Yes, I do understand that the desire to move the cases along, particularly when they're minimal offenses. I think for these individuals, and Mr. Moore may have more information, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think these individuals are not people who, their case was previously bound over or they waived. and they're waiting because of some administrative function. These are people who have elected at this point to not waive their preliminary hearing and move their case through the court system more expeditiously. And certainly they, have that right to do so. And if the court does wish to address that issue, the state would just be prepared to put its position before the court.
Yes, ma'am. The next case I have is position 5. It says Nathaniel Collins, but it lists Alfonso Kraft as the attorney. Was this a felony case where the misdemeanor was sent down?
I think so, Your Honor. It was one that I had thought that it was staying a felony.
And Your Honor, it's showing BCU, which makes me think.
Oh, wait.
Feel that it's still
Looks like has it been bound over?
yeah, that's what I was gonna. I think that it's been bound to Superior Court. If I just may have one moment to confirm, Your Honor.
Sure.
Well, I was looking at it. Seems like it was bound over to state court on December 17th, maybe.
No, it was transferred to Superior Court on December 7th.
Oh.
Said December 7th.
Yes, Your Honor. That's what the CPUA system indicates. And BTW, I think, is the Superior Court code. Usually BLW is the state court code.
Okay. This name sounds familiar to me. And I don't know if I said on the first appearance, but I'll take a look at it because I believe there may have been more charges than just the misdemeanor. Position number 6 is Lewis Copeland.
Your Honor, Mr. Copeland is again not represented. However, we did attempt to meet with him prior to this morning, but actually we had some difficulty. I think it might be a mental health situation. I was hoping to have a moment with him this morning to try to check into that.
Okay. I'm going to mark pretrial with the client.
Thank you.
Position number 8 is Michael Isaac Gilbert.
Your Honor, I believe he was bound over on January 5th.
Okay. Position number 11 is Bobby Gillis.
Your Honor, Mr. Gills is a lister in
Oh, Gillis, sorry.
Oh, no worries. A bond motion had been filed in his case. I need to get that over to the state, Audrey. I got your message on that issue. I did want to take a moment with him this morning. I don't think it's been bound. His case has been bound over, but I was just hoping to have a quick discussion with him, kind of shore up those issues, make sure I'm correct in my thinking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Sure.
Position 13 is Jeffrey Griffith. It also is showing Alfonso Kraft.
If I may have one moment, Your Honor. While I'm doing that, I was able to confirm that BCU is the code for transferring that other case to Superior Court. And Your Honor is correct. There appears to have been a criminal damage in the second attached to that offense. So it does appear that jurisdiction was proper in Superior Court and that it's been transferred.
Okay, so Mr. Collins will get transferred this charge will get transferred to Superior Court also. We just need to make certain that this actually gets transferred.
And Your Honor, with respect to Mr. Griffith, do you have that warrant number?
Yes, ma'am. It is 2021 WA 20205.
That's what I was thinking, Your Honor. I just wanted to confirm it. It looks like Mr. Griffith's case actually was bound over to state court and has been accused.
Okay.
And is scheduled before Judge Garrett, or has been scheduled previously. And I just want to confirm 2021 WA 20205, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, sir. That is the case.
Okay. So it's been bound over to state court and has been accused.
Yes, sir.
All right. Position number 14 is Morgan Chanel Hicks.
Yes, Your Honor. She's a Lister Holden Dennis client. She's on this morning for a bond motion. But that should be, I think she was one of the ones that was specifically on this calendar for that purpose and not for a preliminary hearing.
Okay. So, and Ms. Lewis, this has been a case where you have received a bond motion.
Yes, Your Honor, we did.
Okay. Position number 16 is Derek Cantrell Langdon.
There, Mr. Langdon is a Lister Holden Dennis client. We would like to have a quick discussion with him, if you would allow, to discuss possibly plea options. Additionally, we may want to address bond. However, before we even get there, I would need to have that conversation, please. Thank you.
Okay. Position number 18 is Miranda Mason or Masoni.
I believe I checked her out earlier. I think her case has been bound over. It may have been on the 5th.
Okay. Position number 19 is Aryan Norwood.
Your Honor, he is also a Lister Holden Dennis client. We would like to have a quick discussion with him as well, and we may be asking to address bond prior to a preliminary hearing.
Okay. Has this been a case where you filed a bond motion or bond petition?
No, it is not.
Okay. Position number 22 is Umar, is it Pressberry?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
He is a Lister Holden Dennis client. He's actually continued from last week due to quarantine, I believe, but we are ready to have a hearing for him. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mohammed. I believe we had that discussion yesterday.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So Mr. Pressberry is our first confirmed hearing.
Please, Your Honor.
Okay. Position number 25 is Carlson Russell.
Your Honor, if we could have a moment with him prior to making an announcement, we may want to see if the court will be willing to address bond with him as well.
Did you file a motion in this case?
No, sir.
Okay.
Your Honor, because of the nature of the offense, we would object to hearing bond without notice on that.
And I should let the court know as well. Again, we were not appointed. However, in anticipation of this calendar, we did have a conversation with them in case the court was anticipating appointing us to his matter.
And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Lewis, but the issue that she's bringing up is the Crime Victims Bill of Rights, where the state is required to notify alleged victims of a hearing.
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
Okay. So that's going to be a big hurdle, Mr. Moore.
Oh, I understand completely, Your Honor. And Yeah, and I expect that the state may very well have brought up that issue. I just wanted to see where our conversation takes us. And if that be the case, then so be it.
Okay. Position 26 is Bruce Sims.
Your Honor, I think a waiver, I don't think that case has been bound over yet. However, we did file a preliminary hearing waiver back on December 17th. It's still pending a hearing. He's actually got a probation violation, I think, that's keeping him in custody in addition to this case. I think at this point, we would just be asking to have his case bound over at the end of the hearing. I would, or I'm sorry, at the end of today's calendar, I'd provide the court with an order to bind that case over, if that would be all right with Your Honor.
And this is a case where you're asking for it to be bound over administratively or under some other theory?
Just that from the fact that the preliminary waiver had already been filed. That
Okay.
we had already waived or attempted to waive it on the 17th.
So yes, that will be granted. And we'll see what happens this time. Position number 27, it's Jeremy, is it Suter?
And Your Honor, I had a look at him as well. I believe that he was, I think it was the 5th that he was bound over as well.
Okay.
Yeah, he's actually already in Judge Hayward's courtroom.
Okay. Position number 28 is it Diaz Valentine?
Your Honor, that was another one that was on the calendar that had not been appointed. I attempted to meet with her yesterday, but either mental health or she just didn't want to speak to an attorney. Either way, I was going to request a moment this morning to see where she was.
Okay. I'm going to mark it as a pretrial. I'm going to allow you to speak to her and report back as to her wishes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, on that case, I am aware that that officer out on FMLA leave. I did relay that to Mr. Moore through chat.
Okay. Okay. So is this a case? I'll wait to hear back from Mr. Moore, but is this a case, Ms. Lewis, where there could be some movement either for this case to go get bound over to state court or for a reduction of bond or something? And I'm just asking. I'm not requiring that at all.
Yes, sir. If I could just have 1 moment. Don't know that I would be in a position to consent to a lowered bond. I believe, though, Your Honor, based on my understanding of the time of turnaround for the leave, that officer would be back and I think available for next week if we were to reset it, so as not to prolong. Matter if, the defendant doesn't wish to waive.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get this stuff moved along so it can get to wherever it needs to go. Position number 30 is Stuart Wright.
Your Honor, that's a literal and Dennis client. I think pretty confident he was bound over. I think he's actually already been accused as well. State court.
Okay. Is that true, Ms. Lewis? Do you know that?
Your Honor, I'm just taking a moment to confirm that, but I do believe that that is correct.
It looks like, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just saying, it looks like he's in Judge Hayward's courtroom already.
Okay.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So that completes the recall of the calendar as I have it, are there cases that you expect to be called, anyone expected to be called that were not called?
I don't think so, Your Honor. I think that's all the ones that I expected this morning.
Okay. So I'm going to set up the breakout rooms. I'm going to allow everyone to speak to their respective clients. And if anyone needs to speak to Ms. Lewis, let me know, because I did not see that as I was making notes as we've gone through this. The officers who are here on those cases that were either bound, well, most likely were bound over. Let me go through that real quick so that these officers can be excused. And Ms. Lewis, you're in the best position to know which officer. So starting from the beginning of the calendar, it looks like the first case is position number 5, Nathaniel Collins. Do you have an officer here present on that case?
No, Your Honor, I do not. I think we had anticipated that that would not be a case on today's calendar.
Okay. Position number 8, Michael Gilbert. Mcclellan?
Yes, Your Honor, I do not see that officer, so I think we were able to notify them in advance.
Okay. Position, let's see. Position number 13, Jeffrey Griffith.
Your Honor.
Cooper Phillip Jackson. Okay. Position number 18 is Miranda Mason. Looks like maybe Officer Stenfield, or Stenfield S is what I have here.
I do not see that officer.
Okay. Mr. Bruce Sims. That is Mr. Moore. You're asking for that to be bound over at the end of the hearing. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Your
Okay.
Honor, I do see Officer Powell on that matter. May he be excused?
Yes, Officer Power, you may be excused. Thank you for your attendance. Position 27, Jeremy Suter. Billingsley.
I don't see Officer Billingsley, Your Honor.
Okay. And position 30, Stuart Wright. Looks like a Carl Edward Jones.
And I don't see Officer Jones.
Okay. Now, there were requests for bond hearings in some cases where a petition was not filed. Mr. Moore, you're going to have to convince me as to, I was going to use the word entitled, but how are we going to have a bond hearing where a petition was not filed?
Of course, Your Honor. No, I understand the court's position and the state's position as well. I would submit that in at least some, if not all of these cases, that the circumstances are to the extent that it would warrant an unusual granting of a request. And I would be happy to let the court know some of those facts. However, before I could even get there, I would need to discuss whether or not, because there have been some fast track offers made, I would need to go over that with those clients, because that may change their entire position. on
Okay.
What they wanted to do this morning anyway.
Okay, so I'll wait to address that issue until I hear back from you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that.
No problem. I'm trying to be as cognizant of people's time as possible. So I'm going to set up these breakout rooms. And as I said before, Miss Lewis, you're going to be assigned to breakout room number 1.
Thank you. Your Honor.
And so whenever you need to have conversation with one of the lawyers, I'm going to place them in that room with you. So currently, I have Mr. Moore, Mr. Kamani are going to breakout room 2 with the Clayton County Jail. Am I missing someone, Mr. Moore?
Thank you, Your Honor. Myself, Mr. Kamani would be good.
Okay. It doesn't appear that there's anyone now that needs to speak to Miss Lewis. So I'm going to assign you to this room, Miss Lewis. But I'm not going to require you to stay in that room.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm still gaining my wings with this whole breakout room stuff. So I just want to make certain that I at least assign it to you. So I can stop that from happening. Okay, so I'm going to be here. I'm going to be doing other things. But if anyone needs my attention, just let me know and I can hear you. So I'll come in, and I consider myself the bus driver at this point. I'm just getting people to their locations. All right. Everyone,
Your Honor.
you're welcome. Have a good, well, I'd say have a good day, but I'm going to be here. Okay.
Thanks, Judge.
You're welcome. And the officers, you can all take yourselves off camera and just stay in earshot so that if we need you, we can reach you. Okay. Miss Lewis, if you need me, I'm going to be here.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it.
No problem.